Hi folks, this is Dragon. This is another video on some equipment reviews, namely binoculars. I guess the main part of the binocular is the lenses in it, as we're pretty well familiar with. Just to go a little back a bit in history, the first man-made glass, by accident or otherwise, recorded in history. It goes back about 3,500 years BC, in the Middle East somewhere, where hot cooking fires made on sand produced glass, very crude form of glass. Through the ages, through the various empires, the Middle East, the Mediterranean, the Egyptian Empire, the Roman Empire and so on, glass objects, ornaments and that sort of thing were highly prized in the trade routes, and yeah, they probably had the top 1% then too, so they're the only people that could actually afford it. Very expensive. Around about 1000 years AD, the first optical sight enhancement form came into being. Actually, the first one was actually a cylindrical glass cylinder or ball, which was placed over the top of writings and maps and drawings and sort of thing to help the user improve their eyesight if they had some sort of sight problems or anything like that. Around about 200 or 300 years later, as the technology of glass manufacturing and a better understanding of optics started to come on the scene, the first spectacles suddenly appeared for sight impaired people. Then in the early 1600s, the first telescope was made, arguably by a Dutchman, which was initially used for astronomy. In the time following that, society began to realise that there were other applications that these could be used for. And probably the most commonly known one was the collapsible telescope or pocket telescope that was used by maritime trade routes, ships, but they became popular on land too, in peace and war on the battlefields. So around about, as far as I can make out, around about the 1800s, we went from the collapsible telescope to the binoculars, which the type of instruments you use both eyes instead of one. So to give you a bit of rundown on the ones I've got, it's a matter of personal choice. There's some very high-end, very expensive gear. These ones I've had for a number of years. A couple have been belting around the bush a few times and they've served me very well. One is the monocular, which is the modern day version of the collapsible pocket telescope. This one here has a range of about 1,000 metres or 1,000 yards for fine, relatively good detail, but you use it for longer ranges. It's just that you won't get the detail that you're looking for. Comes in its own pouch, belt loop on the back of it, cord. I won't go too much into how these work. I guess most people know how they work. Just got some notes here. Memory like a tea strainer this morning. This one weighs around about 7 ounces, around about 214 grams. I do use this sometimes in the bush. The most popular one I use most often is the compact binoculars. Again, the range is about the same and the weight is about the same. However, you can see the difference in sizes. This is far more compact, whereas this isn't. The weight is about the same, as I said. Had these for a number of years, and they've served me well in the bush. The other one I keep in the vehicles, and the reason why I do this is these have a much longer range, and as you can see, they're quite big and they're quite bulky and rather heavy compared to the smaller ones. This one weighs probably just over a pound, or roughly 400 to 500 grams. I keep these in the vehicles and have used them from time to time. Much better range on them. But yeah, it's one of those instruments I use in the bush. This one I've got on my bush belt, and I found them quite useful. They can be used across a wide range of scenarios and reasons. Scenarios, well, you know, you can talk for ages about that, but they can be used in urban areas, homesteading, retreats, in the bush, for hunting, or looking at particular objects of interest from a relatively safe distance. So it's not a gadget. As I said, they've got a long history, and if they're looked after properly, they can be handed down from generation to generation. They one of the long-term bit of gear that you can use in the bush. These are very simple. There's no electronics in them. High-end stuff you can get electronically enhanced binoculars with range finders, and they branch off into night vision and that sort of thing. I've kept mine fairly simple. So there's a couple of options, folks, anyway. If you haven't already got them, maybe something you want to think about. It does give you a distinct advantage in urban, bush and areas and that sort of thing. So we'll leave it at that. Really a personal choice, what type you get, what size, the range and that sort of thing. Some high-end stuff or medium range stuff come gas-filled with nitrogen, much the same as rifle scopes. It stops condensation inside with temperature variations. So that's something you may need to consider too. So that's about it, folks. Thanks very much for watching.